dad. Do it look like his son supposed to be taking your dad? I don't even feel right. Y'all hear this time? Oh, Tank don't pay his coach.
Tank doesn't seem satisfied with his team following his draw with Lamont Roach. He's considering significant changes, including parting ways with his longtime trainer, Calvin Ford. Fans were already shocked when Tank decided to leave Ford, but now it seems his new trainer, Barry Hunter, might be out as well. This is surprising since Tank and Ford were close, and people are questioning whether Tank is making the right choice or if frustration is influencing his decisions. Tank was always the first one in the gym, but things are shifting quickly, leaving everyone wondering what's coming next.
One in the gym, the last one out the gym. Tank used to sit on the ring like this and watch me train him.
How old is he at this point?
He was like 7, 8.
Okay.
A lot of...
Ford wasn't in Tank's corner for the Roach fight, which raised some eyebrows. Now, Tank is suggesting that Ford focus on his family and younger fighters. Tank feels that his career is entering a new chapter, and he needs a fresh team to help push him forward. He insists it's not personal, or at least that's what he's saying, but Ford isn't convinced. This isn't about me, Ford reportedly said. It's about Tank, and right now he's looking for someone to blame. Ford believes this is more than just a career move.
So, something we gotta work on in the corner, for sure.
For Ford, this situation is bigger than just boxing. He took Tank in as a kid and helped him evolve into a champion. Now, it feels like Tank is pushing him aside. Wanting change is one thing, but Ford feels this is a betrayal, a sign that Tank might not fully appreciate how much Ford contributed to his success. The Roach fight didn't go as planned, but Ford doesn't think training was the real issue. He believes there's something deeper at play beyond just strategy or preparation.
He been with me since I was 7. I used to sleep in Coach Calvin's house. I used to sleep at his job when he was working at seafood.
When you lose focus and think you've got everything figured out, that's when things fall apart, Ford said, expressing his frustration. He believes Tank is trying to make drastic changes after one poor performance, but you don't throw away your family, Ford added. That's what hurts the most. Ford didn't just see himself as a trainer. He was a steady presence in Tank's life, guiding him through tough times. Now, after one bad night, all of that seems to be forgotten, and Ford is feeling the sting of being left behind.
Calvin is Calvin, you know what I mean? I got Calvin tatted on me. Calvin ain't going nowhere. Y'all don't even know Calvin for CCO. I know Calvin, you know what I mean? Y'all don't know. Calvin is Pops. He ain't going nowhere. I got that nigga tatted on me.
Barry Hunter helped prepare Tank for the Roach fight and is well versed in boxing. While it's common for fighters to make changes after a loss, even Hunter is surprised by how quickly Tank is shifting his team. Tank is looking at everything around him, trying to figure out what went wrong. Hunter said, right now, Tank seems to think that changing trainers and his team is the solution. Hunter hasn't said much publicly, but it's clear he understands what's coming if Tank is truly overhauling his camp. Hunter might be out as well. This level of change is unusual after just one fight.
That's just because of Tank's comment, because he was asked if Coach Calvin was in his corner. He said, we'll see.
Right, because it's nobody's business, but, you know, he didn't mean anything by that, you know.
Facts. There you go.
They forever family.
There you go. Enough said.
If Tank is truly serious about overhauling his team, finding a completely new group won't be easy, especially for a fighter at his level. The Roach fight was meant to be a decisive win, but instead, it raised doubts. Did Tank underestimate Roach? Did he fail to train properly, or was something wrong within the camp? Tank is asking himself these questions, and his answer seems to be that he needs a fresh start. His decision could either solve the problem or make things worse.
So everything is good with Calvin, because it's the first time he's not the head trainer in a while.
Yeah, for sure. Calvin is, again, I said Calvin is Pops, you know what I mean? He will always be around, you know what I mean? So,
Ford sees things differently. He believes the real issue lies with Tank himself. Was it the trainer or the fighter? Ford asked. Because last time I checked, nobody threw a punch that night except him. Ford thinks Tank lost focus. Perhaps believing his natural talent was enough, maybe his drive has diminished. Ford feels this isn't about trainers. It's about Tank needing to reflect on himself. Hunter seems to agree, saying Tank needs to figure out what kind of fighter he wants to be, and switching trainers may not fix that.
Man, the story's gonna reveal itself.
you know. But again, that's how you burn a person. Somebody said this is the true colors of a person who's coming out, man. They can't stand it, you know. Calm is I don't like using that word calm, you know, but our Lord knows. He knows.
But Tank is convinced that change is necessary. He's reportedly looking at high-profile trainers with experience coaching world champions. Names are already being tossed around, and it's clear Tank wants to make significant changes. However, some in the boxing world believe Tank is making a mistake by severing ties with the people who know him best. Others think it's just part of his evolution as a fighter that sometimes great boxers need to make tough decisions, even if it means leaving their past behind.
Better now, champ. Better now.
Sound good? Yeah. Ready for Saturday? Yes, satisfied. Oh, born ready. Huh? Oh, man, what can I say, man? Of course, Tank, somebody that's been in the gym since he was a little baby, so we real familiar with him. Cam was beautiful. Yeah.
The real question is whether these changes will actually benefit Tank, or if frustration is clouding his judgment. Ford has already made it clear that he's not going to beg to stay in Tank's corner. "I did my job," Ford said. "I took him from nothing to the top. What he does now is up to him." Hunter is also waiting to see what happens next. He knows boxing is unpredictable. Tank could change his mind, but right now it looks like Hunter is out as well. This puts Tank in a tough spot moving forward.
If you got 5 judges, there's no way you ever gonna get a split. You know what I'm saying? Because it gotta always be one be that deciding factor. Because with 3, it's like majority. You know what I mean? So, all right, if 3...
Tank is making a bold move, trusting himself and bringing in new voices. But if things don't go well in his next fight, what happens then? Once those long-standing bonds are broken, there's no going back. Ford, despite his frustration, isn't angry, just disappointed. "I just want him to see what he's doing," Ford said. Because at the end of the day, when all these new people come and go, who's really going to be there? That's the question Tank hasn't yet answered. He's gambling on himself, but it's a risky bet.
Any of y'all had me getting knocked out to all this, I'm going to go back and look at y'all pages. I promise you. I promise you. I'm so glad the fake boxing media not here neither. Two-tone, showbiz, all.
Meanwhile, Lamont Roach Jr. is wasting no time. After the controversial draw, he's already pushing for a rematch, possibly in May, which is earlier than expected. That could be a challenge for Tank if he's in the middle of restructuring his team. Adjusting to new trainers and a new system while preparing for a big fight could backfire, making things even harder. Tank could find himself in a more difficult situation if the rematch comes too soon.
What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, you know, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more.
Roach believes he won the first fight and is confident heading into rematch talks. "Even though I didn't get the result I deserved, I was part of a sellout crowd that set a record at the Barclays Center," Roach posted on Instagram. "I showed I'm a pound for pound talent against a generational star." Roach's camp is steady and improving, while Tank's team is in turmoil. Tank might feel justified in making changes, but the timing could be against him. The next few months will determine if Tank's gamble pays off or sets him back.
Let's hear what he got to say right now.
Important question on everyone's mind: how close is the rematch? How big will it be? How close is it to getting done?
Very close. It's in my mind, it's a done deal, but there are formalities, but it's a done deal and it's not far off.
If the rematch happens in May, Tank will have barely 2 months to adjust to a new team, assuming he finalizes his new camp in time. That's not just a risk, it's a gamble. Fighters usually need months to adjust to a new system, understand a new trainer's methods, and build the necessary chemistry for fight night. Tank won't have that luxury. He'll enter a high-stakes rematch while still figuring out what works and what doesn't in his new setup. It's a dangerous position, especially given how the first fight unfolded. Roach proved he could push Tank in ways few others have.
No, I think Lamont's going to push more, but I think that even gives Tank a little bit more openings to maybe even finish the job better. But it goes to show you, I mean, hey, the hunger needs to be there. And I think Tank probably needed this too to kind of boost that up. It's a great fight. I look forward to it. I look forward to the rematch. God willing, it's done quick.
No, I think Lamont's going to push more, but I think that even gives Tank a little bit more, openings to maybe even finish the job better, one boxing analyst said, but it goes to show you, the hunger needs to be there. I think Tank probably needed this too, to kind of boost that up. It's a great fight. I look forward to it. I look forward to the rematch. God willing, it's done quick.
I think he is going to be a little more aggressive because he said that Tank couldn't punch, so he figured he could take Tank's punches. So I think he is going to try to be a little more aggressive, which could, like Dub said, can open him up to get hit with a big shot because you kept that left hand up.
Roach wasn't just surviving. He was taking rounds, controlling the pace, and frustrating the Baltimore Star. Then came the 9th round controversy, when Tank took a knee and ran to his corner to have his face wiped instead of calling it a knockdown. Referee Steve Willis let the fight continue, a decision that had fans and analysts questioning what really happened. Even days later, the New York State Athletic Commission provided an unconvincing explanation, citing technical issues for not being able to review the moment in real time. That only fueled the fire, making the rematch even more personal for Roach. He doesn't just want a rematch, he wants to finish what he started. Tank, on the other hand, has options. A matchup with Shocker Stevenson or Devin Haney would be more lucrative and give him more time to restructure his team.
He take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but you know.
There's even talk of a potential fight with Jake Paul, a matchup that would generate massive pay-per-view numbers. But there's also Tank's pride. He doesn't like the way things ended with Roach. He knows people are questioning him, and a fighter of his stature doesn't just let that slide. Walking away from the rematch could be seen as a sign of weakness, and that's a label Tank doesn't want attached to him. If anything, that's probably what's pushing him to take the fight as soon as possible. Barry Hunter, who worked with Tank ahead of the Roach fight, is also in an uncertain position. If Tank overhauls his camp, Hunter could be out just as quickly as he was brought in. That only adds to the chaos. If Tank does go through with the rematch in May, who will actually be in his corner?
Did GervontaDavis lose to Roach? Yes, he did. Even without that whole bizarre situation where Davis took a knee, which should have been scored as a knockdown in Roach's favour, I believe Roach still edged it. Should he have been fighting Roach in the first?
If both Calvin Ford and Hunter are out, Tank will step into the ring with a completely new team, one that hasn't been tested under pressure. That's a risk most fighters wouldn't take. But Tank isn't most fighters. He's built his career on proving doubters wrong, on showing up when people expect him to fail. Maybe that's what he's betting on again. Maybe he believes that even with a new team, his raw talent will carry him through, but Roach isn't. Come into play, he's hungrier than ever and believes the first fight proved he belongs at the top. He's not giving Tank time to adjust. He's pressing for the rematch before Tank can fully recover and settle into a new rhythm. It's a smart move, one that could tilt the odds in Roach's favor.
Even without the knee, that should have been a knockdown. I thought I should have won a competitive fight. I think I did what I needed to do necessary to bank the rounds. I'm just a little frustrated with the scorecards. I thought I should have won.
That's why this situation is so risky for Tank. He's already facing uncertainty with his camp, and now he's being pushed into a rematch he might not be fully prepared for. If he wins, all the doubts disappear and he moves forward stronger. But if he loses, everything changes. A loss to Roach wouldn't just be a setback, it would be devastating. It would shake his reputation as one of boxing's biggest stars and make people question whether he made the right decisions in overhauling his team. The pressure is on him. Roach has nothing to lose and everything to gain.
You can't even see who it is. Hey, who is the dude? Who is the dude?
That right there is why GervontaDavis.
It's been a tough stretch for Tank Davis. What should have been a celebratory moment, a sold-out fight against Lamont Roach Jr., turned into a controversial draw, leaving his undefeated record with a blemish. The frustration from that night hasn't faded, with Roach still pushing for a rematch and boxing fans debating whether Tank truly deserved the result. Things have only become more complicated now, as talks for the rematch heat up and a potential May date is being discussed. Another issue has emerged: legal trouble. Instead of focusing on his future in the ring, Tank is once again dealing with legal issues. A Baltimore judge spared him jail time after he admitted to violating his probation. From a 2020 hit-and-run case that left 4 people injured, the judge extended his probation for 18 months and ordered him to make a $10,000 donation. But even with this decision, the legal troubles only add to the distractions surrounding the WBA lightweight champion. The question now is how this will affect the upcoming rematch with Roach, and more importantly, is Tank in the right mindset to make the necessary adjustments before stepping back into the ring? Rematches are all about adjustments. If a fighter enters the second fight with the same game plan, history usually repeats itself. That's why Roach is so eager to run it back. He feels he already has the blueprint to beat Tank. Even without the legal issues, jumping into an immediate rematch against Roach isn't necessarily the wisest choice. Fighters usually need time to process what went wrong in a fight, and Tank hardly has that luxury. Roach, on the other hand, is treating this rematch as his opportunity to shine. He's already been in camp, fine-tuning his skills and analyzing every second of their first fight. He knows exactly what he needs to do differently. Meanwhile, Tank has spent time dealing with probation violations, facing the potential for jail time, and trying to manage his career without Mayweather's backing. The worst thing a fighter can do is underestimate their opponent. Tank already entered the first fight looking unprepared, assuming he could take his time and still win. If he makes the same mistake in the rematch, he could leave with his first loss instead of another controversial draw.
I'm not sure, bro. Hopefully we can get it before. It probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
If Tank is truly committed to making the most of his career, he may need to slow down. A rushed rematch could backfire, especially if he isn't mentally prepared. There's no shame in taking a few extra months to regroup, fine-tune his training, camp, and put his legal troubles behind him. If he decides to go through with a rematch in May, he needs to be fully committed. No more distractions, no more courtroom visits, no more last-minute changes. If he steps into the ring half prepared, Roach isn't going to let him off the hook this time. How do you think this will play out? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.
He got good skills. That's why he's here. I think he's 25-0 with 10 knockouts. So I think he's a A+ fighter, I would say.